Greetings, everyone. This is Sports News Stream, SNS, and I'm your host, Vernon F. Miller. How's everyone doing? Greetings. First thing, as usual, I'd like to thank everyone for all the love and support that we've been receiving. Our channel's starting to pick up a little bit more. We're starting to get a lot more views and some subscribers kicking in, and definitely appreciate that. And for you individuals that are new that are listening, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. Definitely use the love and support. Now, just want to put a disclaimer out there. There is a lot of wind going on outside. We are based in Philadelphia, PA, so it is, to some, would consider kind of brisk outside. It's my kind of weather, but nonetheless, please excuse any wind or noise you may hear. We tried to isolate our little makeshift studio as best we could. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Today's show is topic, Golden State Warriors, and why they will not, and I repeat, will not win another championship. Right now, the Golden State Warriors are currently 40-15. They are atop of the Western Conference Finals of the NBA by a game and a half over the Denver Nuggets. They got pretty much ran out of the gym, off of the floor, pretty much destroyed by the Boston Celtics last night, I believe by a score of 128-95. My numbers serve me correctly. If my sources, yes, 128-95. Pretty much manhandled in Golden State. Now, let's put out there, I believe Klay Thompson was not playing, but yet and still felt Golden State should have had enough offense to, at least get past the Boston Celtics, who have not been playing great as of lately. Kevin Durant had 18 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Boogie Cousins had 10 and 9. Steph Curry had 23 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Draymond, he had his usual under 10 points. He had 5 points, 5 assists, and 6 rebounds, and he's looking for a max contract. Yeah. Good luck with that. But with that being said, Golden State has some problems. Last 10 games they've won. Last 10 games they're 5-5. Okay, and the 3 out of those 5 games that they won out of that 10, they only won by 2 points. Those 5 games that they did win or lose, 4 of them were on the road. So it's paramount that they win the Western Conference so they can have home court throughout. Here's my philosophy of why Golden State will not win another championship. Number one, at the time Golden State was assembled and they were on their high and they were just destroying the NBA, they were quite ahead of the NBA. Nobody had a clue of what was going on. They pretty much blitzkrieged the NBA, and it was raining threes all over the place, and nobody had a clue on what to do or how to do it. Steve Kerr looked like a mad scientist, and Steph Curry and company looked like gods on the court. But now the NBA is caught up. The NBA is caught up, and now they have somewhat of an idea of what Golden State is doing. Pass, shoot, pass, find the open guy, take the shot. But the problem now is that, a lot of these teams are now playing that perimeter a lot better. They're playing that perimeter with bigger guys. They're playing that perimeter with bigger, quicker guys, long, lanky guys. Let's say, for an example, Steph Curry may be going up against a guy like Ben Simmons. Steph Curry's 6'3", Ben Simmons is 6'10", and he can move his feet just as good as Steph Curry. Not saying he can move it pretty good. He can stay in front of him. So if you got a guy that can stay in front of him and put his hands up, he put his hands up, he's now 7 foot. So that makes it more of a challenging shot for those type of guards. They've somewhat figured Golden State out. Secondly, Steve Kerr isn't a great coach to me. He's a coach. He's not some great coach like a Popovich or what have you, or Doc Rivers or what have you, where a situation comes up and he comes up with this great play and yay, here we go. He's not. He's a coach that's on he's on a coach that's on a team that has very good players. Very good players. Okay? Let's be honest and let's be transparent about it. Mark Jackson put that team together. He put the core of that team together. And Steve Kerr came in afterwards. And I'm still trying to figure out why Mark Jackson was fired anyway, but he came in afterwards and pretty much rode that wave. Almost like a John Gruden, Tony Dungy thing. Tony Dungy put the team together for Tampa Bay. For whatever reason, they fired Tony Dungy, and Gruden comes in and wins the Super Bowl the next following year. You get the point. So Steve Kerr isn't really what I would consider a great coach. And that's starting to come out as well. KD and Draymond. Some sources out there saying that the friction between KD and Draymond is still apparent, still relevant, and still present. They're just not exposing themselves quite as much. I think that is definitely starting to reflect on the play of Golden State and how they're trying to, weather the storm on, these teams that are coming into Golden State, like the Boston Celtics, who have been struggling for the last 2 weeks. They have been struggling, and a Golden State team comes out on the floor at home and gets destroyed by the the Boston Celtics. The Sixers almost beat them the other night without Embiid. Lost by 3 points. I believe 120 to 117. Without Embiid. So, Golden State is definitely starting to show a lot of cracks. And basically, the NBA's just got better now. They got better. When you start looking at the teams that can be an apparent threat to Golden State, obviously, the first team that comes off the top of your head is the Houston Rockets, who should have beat Golden State last year. Chris Paul could have stayed healthy. Then you could talk about the OKC, the Thunder. They're playing pretty good ball, and I think they'll rev it up during the playoffs. I mean, Paul George has to be in the conversation of MVP. And then you start talking about the Denver Nuggets, who are right a game and a half behind the Golden State Warriors. God forbid the Golden State goes a little losing streak here or there. Skid a couple of games with about 17, 18 games left, and Denver Nuggets gets the top seed. Well, it's going to be a very challenging situation for Golden State to go in someone else's house and beat them 4 out of 7. And lastly, Golden State really doesn't have any defense. Never was known for defense. They can't really even produce any defense. You got a couple of defensive players on the team. Kevin Durant, Iguodala, who's definitely showing his age. But other than that, they really don't. I mean, Boogie Cousins, I guess, kind of, sort of. Draymond, I don't really consider him a defensive player. I consider him a hack, a boisterous. He's a bully, So I don't really respect Draymond's game like that at all. But Golden State has no defense. Has no defense, never had no defense, and probably isn't thinking about any defense. Golden State's model, their key, their focus was, we're going to outshoot you. Don't matter. If you score 140, we're going to score 160, and we'll win the game. The problem now is you got teams that are playing, like I said, better perimeter defense along the perimeter. Because who's really posting up with Golden State? Nobody really posts up. I mean, they have Boogie Cousins. Okay, great. But to me, I mean, and he's a solid player. But, when you start playing guys that can play big for big, Boogie doesn't remind me of no shutdown or no defensive guy. He doesn't remind me of anything defensive. He can play defense, but it isn't like, he's going to be an intimidating presence in the paint. He just doesn't strike me as that guy. So if you're playing good perimeter defense, you can go ahead and definitely put some pressure on Golden State. I mean, and again, I bring up, the Boston Celtics, who held the Golden State Warriors to under 100 points. Meanwhile, while they gave up 128 points, they were held to under 100 points on their home floor. On their own floor. So, home floor. And then, like I've always said, who is really the key component for the Golden State Warriors? I've always said Klay Thompson. Because he's the guy that can, because you know who KD is. You know what I'm saying? You know who he is. He can put the ball on the floor and do whatever. But he may command the double team. Steph Curry can put a big enough guy on him that's athletic enough. You can definitely, because if you got a guy, this is why Kyrie Irving pretty much destroyed somewhat Steph Curry in that NBA Finals, because Steph had to go back and play defense, and we know he can't. Okay? Kyrie Irving took Steph Curry out to the shed and wore him out. Now Steph got to come back and play offense. That was a bit of a challenge there. Even with Westbrook, it's somewhat of a challenge for Steph, because now he has to play defense with an aggressive guard. So that cancels it out, But when you got a guy like Klay Thompson, who can get hot, like super duper hot, and then can still put the ball on the floor at a decent rate and become productive, that's the problem. You think you got KD figured out, you think you got Steph figured out, and then here comes Klay trotting down the court, and he's killing you. He's draining, 4 or 5 in a row. You run up and play him on the perimeter, he blows by you, and either he's going to kick it out or he's going to lay it up, So Klay Thompson is definitely the X factor, and he is definitely sorely missed. So, but even with that all being said, I don't see Golden State coming out of the West. I see the Houston Rockets coming out of the West, and I believe it will be the Houston Rockets and the Toronto Raptors playing for the NBA Final, playing in the NBA Final for it all. So with that being said, only time will tell. That's all we have for right now. Again, my name is Vernon F. Miller for Sports News Stream. Definitely appreciate all the love and support. And until next time.